When Elon Musk got into a random taxi on a rainy Austin night, he froze. The driver was Jeffrey Boycott, the talented engineer he had fired 3 years ago in front of everyone. Jeffrey was now desperately counting crumpled bills, hoping he had enough money for his 8-year-old daughter's breathing medicine. What happened next will shock you. Jeffrey thought his career was over because of one small mistake. But while he drove taxi just to survive, his failed battery invention was secretly being perfected. The same design that got him fired was actually revolutionary. It could power a car for thousands of miles and produce zero pollution. Elon's decision in that taxi completely changed Jeffrey's life forever. But there was one more secret that would leave you speechless. Jeffrey's brave little daughter had been hiding something heartbreaking about her dying mother's last words, something that explained everything. But how did a man who lost everything become the person who saved the world? And what did an 8-year-old girl know that even Elon Musk didn't see coming? Before we dive into this incredible true story, make sure to hit that like button and comment where you're watching from. The rain hammered Austin streets like angry fists. Jeffrey Boycott sat in his yellow taxi outside the Four Seasons Hotel, watching rich people run under umbrellas. His hands shook as he counted the crumpled bills in his wallet. $27.37 if he counted the coins in his cup holder. Not enough for rent. Not enough for Luna's medicine. Not enough for anything. His stomach growled, but he ignored it. Luna needed dinner more than he did. She was only 8 years old. Too young to understand why Daddy ate so little these days. The radio crackled. Car 47, you got a pickup at the Four Seasons. VIP customer. Jeffrey grabbed the radio. Car 47 here. On my way. He drove around to the front entrance. The doorman, a tall man in a fancy uniform, waved him over. Rain poured off the hotel's green awning like a waterfall. Your passenger will be right out, the doorman said. He's very important. Be polite. Jeffrey nodded. Every customer was important when you needed money for your daughter's asthma medicine. A minute later, a man in a black leather jacket walked out of the hotel. He was tall and thin, with dark hair. He moved fast, like he was always in a hurry. Jeffrey had seen that walk before, but he couldn't remember where. The man opened the back door and slid inside. He was talking on his phone in a voice Jeffrey almost recognized. Tesla Gigafactory, please, the man said without looking up. I need to be there in 20 minutes. Jeffrey's heart stopped. That voice. He knew that voice. He looked in the rearview mirror. The man was still on his phone, but Jeffrey could see his face now. Sharp jaw, dark eyes that never seemed to blink. A face that had been in Jeffrey's nightmares for 3 years. Elon Musk. The same man who had fired him from Tesla. The same man who had destroyed his life with 4 words. Jeffrey's hands began to shake on the steering wheel. His mouth felt as dry as desert sand. Should he say something? Should he drive away? Should he pretend not to know? Are we going or not? Elon asked, still not looking up from his phone. Jeffrey started the engine. His heart pounded so loud he was sure Elon could hear it over the rain. They pulled into traffic. Austin's downtown streets were crowded with cars trying to escape the storm. Jeffrey drove carefully, his mind racing faster than his taxi. 3 years ago, he had been Tesla's top battery engineer. He had loved that job more than anything. Well, almost anything. He loved his wife Sarah and his daughter Luna more. But Tesla had been his dream job. He had worked 16-hour days, sometimes sleeping in his office. He had dreams of electric cars that would save the planet, cars that would make the air clean for kids like Luna. Sarah had been so proud of him. My husband is changing the world, she would tell her friends. Then came the mistake. One small error in a battery design. Just a few numbers typed wrong into a computer. It had caused a delay in production. 6 weeks behind schedule. Elon had been furious. Jeffrey remembered that terrible day like it was yesterday. Elon had called him into the conference room in front of the whole engineering team. 30 people watching as Elon tore him apart. "You cost us millions of dollars," Elon had shouted. "You made us look like fools to our investors. You're done. Get out." Security had walked Jeffrey to his desk. They watched as he packed his few belongings into a cardboard box. His co-workers had looked away, embarrassed for him. Nobody said goodbye. Jeffrey had tried to find another engineering job, but word spread fast in the tech world. Jeffrey Boycott made a huge mistake at Tesla, people whispered. Elon Musk himself fired him. No one would hire him. His savings ran out in 3 months. Then Sarah got sick, cancer. The doctors said it was treatable, but the treatments were expensive. Very expensive. Jeffrey took any job he could find. Construction work, grocery store clerk, night shift at a gas station. Nothing paid enough for Sarah's medicine. She died 2 years ago, on a rainy Tuesday morning just like this one. Jeffrey had been holding her hand when she took her last breath. Now it was just Jeffrey and Luna. He drove taxi 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was barely enough to keep them alive. "Turn left up here," Elon said from the back seat. Jeffrey turned. They were getting closer to the Tesla factory. The same building where Jeffrey had once worked, where he had once believed he could change the world. The rain was getting worse. Jeffrey turned on the windshield wipers, but they squeaked like crying birds. Everything in his taxi was old and broken, just like his life. In the mirror, he watched Elon typing on his phone, probably making deals worth millions of dollars, planning rockets to Mars or cars that could drive themselves, living the life Jeffrey had once dreamed of. Did Elon ever think about the people he had fired? Did he know that Jeffrey was driving taxi now? Did he care that Sarah was dead and Luna needed medicine she couldn't afford? Probably not. Rich people didn't think about poor people. They lived in different worlds. Jeffrey remembered Luna that morning, coughing in her bed. Her inhaler was almost empty, and he didn't have money for a new one until next week. She had tried to hide her coughing so Daddy wouldn't worry. "I'm okay, Daddy," she had whispered. "Don't be sad." 8 years old, and she was taking care of him instead of the other way around. The Tesla Gigafactory appeared ahead. A huge building with solar panels on the roof and electric car charging stations in the parking lot. Jeffrey had helped design some of those charging stations. Once upon a time, when he still believed in dreams. "Right here is good," Elon said. Jeffrey pulled up to the main entrance. Through the rain, he could see the lobby where he used to work. The same lobby where security had escorted him out 3 years ago. "How much?" Elon asked. Jeffrey looked at the meter. $18.40. Elon reached into his wallet and pulled out a $20 bill. He started to hand it to Jeffrey, then stopped. For the first time during the ride, Elon really looked at him. Their eyes met in the rearview mirror. Elon's face went pale. The $20 bill fell from his hand onto the seat. "I know you," Elon said slowly. His voice was quiet now, almost a whisper. "You're Jeffrey Chen." Jeffrey stared at Elon in the mirror. His throat felt tight, like someone was squeezing it. The rain kept drumming on the roof of the taxi. Neither man spoke for a long moment. "Yes," Jeffrey finally whispered. "I'm Jeffrey Chen." Elon closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them again, Jeffrey saw something he had never seen before. "I remember that day," Elon said quietly. "The day I fired you." Jeffrey turned around in his seat to face him. Do you really remember? Or do you just remember being angry?" "I remember everything," Elon said. "You wore a blue shirt. You had coffee stains on your sleeve. You looked at me like I had just killed your dog." Jeffrey felt old anger rising in his chest, like hot water. You did kill something. You killed my career, my future, my family. Elon flinched. Your family? My wife died because I couldn't afford her treatment, Jeffrey said. His voice was getting louder. Do you know what it's like to watch someone you love die because you don't have money? Because the man who fired you made sure no one else would hire you? The words hung in the air between them like smoke. Jeffrey had never said those words out loud before, not to anyone. I didn't know, Elon said. Of course you didn't know, Jeffrey shot back. Rich people never know what happens to the little people they step on. Jeffrey turned back around and gripped the steering wheel. His knuckles were white. He was shaking again, but not from fear this time, from anger. 3 years of buried anger was finally coming out. Tell me about that day, Elon said softly. Tell me what I did to you. Jeffrey laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. You want to hear the story? Fine, but you're not going to like it. He closed his eyes and went back to that terrible day. March 15th, 2022, a Tuesday that changed everything. I had been working on the new battery design for 8 months, Jeffrey began. 18-hour days. I barely saw Luna or Sarah, but I believed in the project. I believed in Tesla's mission. He opened his eyes and looked at Elon in the mirror. The battery was going to be revolutionary. 50% more power, half the weight. It would have made Tesla cars better than anything else on the road. I remember, Elon said. It was brilliant work. Was it? Jeffrey asked. Because you sure didn't act like it was brilliant when you fired me. Jeffrey took a shaky breath and continued. I made one mistake, one small error in the computer code. Instead of 3.7 volts, I typed 3.9 volts. 2 little numbers. The testing showed it would delay production by 6 weeks. His hands clenched tighter on the wheel. You called me into the big conference room, the one with the glass walls where everyone could see inside. My whole team was there. 30 engineers who looked up to me. Jeffrey could see it all again in his mind. The long table, the worried faces. Elon at the head of the table, his eyes cold as winter. You didn't even let me explain, Jeffrey said. You just started yelling. This is unacceptable, you said. This costs us millions of dollars and makes us look incompetent to our investors. I was under a lot of pressure, Elon said weakly. So was I, Jeffrey snapped. But I didn't take it out on innocent people. He turned around again to face Elon directly. Do you know what you said next? Do you remember the exact words? Elon shook his head. You said, Jeffrey Chen, you are the reason we will be late to market. You are the reason our stock price will drop. You have failed Tesla and you have failed me. You're done. Security will escort you out. Jeffrey's voice cracked on the last words.
30 people heard you say that. My friends, my team, people I had worked with for 3 years. And they all just sat there and watched as security walked me to my desk.
To Jeffrey? I'm not finished, Jeffrey said. You want to hear the whole story? Then listen. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. Sarah was waiting for me at home. She had made my favorite dinner, spaghetti and meatballs. Luna had drawn me a picture of a car with wings. She said it was my Tesla flying to save the world. Jeffrey's voice got quieter. I walked in the door carrying that cardboard box with my stuff in it. Sarah took one look at my face and knew. She didn't ask what happened. She just hugged me and said we would figure it out. The rain was getting lighter now, but Jeffrey barely noticed. For 2 months, I applied for jobs. Every car company, every tech company, every startup. They all said the same thing. We heard what happened at Tesla. We can't take the risk. I didn't know it would be like that, Elon said. Didn't you? Jeffrey asked. You're Elon Musk. When you fire someone publicly like that, everyone in Silicon Valley hears about it. You had to know it would hurt my chances. Elon was quiet. Sarah never blamed me. Jeffrey continued. Even when we had to sell our house, even when I started working construction jobs for minimum wage, even when she got sick and we couldn't afford the good doctors. Jeffrey's voice broke completely now. She died believing I was still a hero. She told Luna that Daddy was just having a hard time, but that I would figure out how to change the world again. She died believing in me. Tears were streaming down Jeffrey's face now. He didn't care if Elon saw them. And now I drive taxi 12 hours a day just to keep Luna alive. She has asthma and her medicine costs $200 a month. Some days I have to choose between her inhaler and our electricity bill. Jeffrey turned back around and put the car in drive. So yes, Mr. Musk, I remember that day too. The day you destroyed my life because you were having a bad day at the office. As they sat in the heavy silence, Elon reached for the door handle. Stop the car, he said quietly. We need to talk. Jeffrey pulled over to the side of the road. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. The rain was lighter now, but his heart was still pounding like thunder. Elon got out of the back seat and walked around to the front of the taxi. He opened the passenger door and slid in next to Jeffrey. This close, Jeffrey could see the lines around Elon's eyes. He looked older than he did on TV. I remember you, Elon said again. You were brilliant. The best battery engineer we had. Jeffrey stared straight ahead through the windshield. Don't what? Don't try to make me feel better now. It's too late for that. They sat in silence for a moment. The only sound was the rain tapping gently on the roof and the hum of traffic passing by. I heard about your wife, Elon said quietly. I'm sorry. Jeffrey's hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white. Sorry doesn't bring her back. Sorry doesn't pay for my daughter's asthma medicine. Sorry doesn't give me back 3 years of my life. His voice was getting louder again. All the pain and anger he had buried was coming out like water through a broken dam. Sorry doesn't help when Luna asks me why we can't afford new shoes. Sorry doesn't help when she pretends not to be hungry so I can eat the last piece of bread. Elon winced like Jeffrey had hit him. Do you know what it's like? Jeffrey continued. Do you know what it's like to watch your 8-year-old daughter count coins from the couch cushions to help pay for groceries? No, Elon said softly. I don't. Of course you don't. You live in a mansion. You have more money than some countries. You shoot rockets into space for fun. Jeffrey turned to face him. Tears were streaming down his face. But his voice was steady. While you were building rockets, I was choosing between Luna's medicine and our electricity bill. While you were on magazine covers, I was working 3 jobs just to keep us from being homeless. Elon was quiet for a long time. Rain ran down the windows like tears on a sad face. You're right, Elon finally said. I was angry that day. The investors were breathing down my neck. The board was questioning every decision I made. But that's no excuse for what I did to you. No, it's not, Jeffrey agreed. I made a mistake, Elon continued. I was angry about the delay, but firing you, that was wrong. I should have known you were too valuable to lose over one small error. Jeffrey looked at him with tired eyes. So why didn't you call? Why didn't you help when Sarah was dying? You could have fixed this with one phone call. You could have gotten me a job anywhere. Elon had no answer. He just stared out at the rain. I'll tell you why, Jeffrey said. Because poor people aren't real to you. We're just numbers on a spreadsheet. You probably didn't think about me once after you fired me. That's not true, Elon said. Isn't it? Then why am I driving taxi? Why is my daughter using a broken inhaler? Why did my wife die in debt? The questions hung in the air between them like accusations. I think about that day all the time, Elon said quietly. I think about a lot of the people I've fired over the years. But you were different. Your battery design was genius. Even with the mistake. Was it genius when you were screaming at me in front of my team? Jeffrey asked bitterly. I was wrong, Elon said. I was completely wrong. But Jeffrey, there's something you don't know. Something about your battery design. Jeffrey looked at him suspiciously. What are you talking about? Elon reached into his black leather jacket. He pulled out a thick white envelope and held it in his hands. Your design, he said slowly. The one with the mistake. We kept working on it after you left. So we fixed the mistake. And Jeffrey, it works. It works better than we ever imagined. Jeffrey felt his heart skip a beat. What do you mean it works? I mean, your battery design is going to change the world. We've been testing it in secret for 2 years. It's everything you said it would be and more. Elon held out the envelope. I want to make this right, he said. But first, I need to show you something. Something that will explain everything. Jeffrey stared at the envelope. His hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't from anger. It was from hope. And hope was the most dangerous feeling of all. What's in there? He asked. Proof, Elon said. Proof that you were right all along. Proof that your work mattered. Proof that Sarah was right to believe in you. Jeffrey felt like he couldn't breathe. After 3 years of failure, was it possible that his work had actually succeeded? There's something else, Elon said. Something I need to tell you about Sarah. What about Sarah? She called me 6 months before she died. She called Tesla. Jeffrey's world stopped spinning. What? She never told you, did she? Elon said gently. Told me what? Jeffrey whispered. Elon looked him straight in the eyes. She called to ask me to give you your job back. She said you were dying inside without your work. She said Luna needed to see her father believe in himself again. Jeffrey felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. Sarah had called Elon. His proud, stubborn wife had begged for his job back. What did you tell her? He asked. Elon's voice was barely a whisper. I told her I would think about it. But then she got sicker, and by the time I decided to call back, she was gone, Jeffrey finished. She was gone, and I was too much of a coward to face you at the funeral. They sat in the heavy silence. Jeffrey felt like the world had shifted under his feet. Everything he thought he knew was wrong. But first, I need to show you something, Elon said again, holding up the envelope. Something that will change everything. Jeffrey stared at the envelope in Elon's hands. His heart was beating so fast he could hear it in his ears. I don't want your money, Jeffrey said, if that's what this is about. It's not money, Elon replied. It's something much more important. Jeffrey didn't trust himself to speak. Hope was a dangerous thing when you had lost everything. Hope could break you all over again. Come with me, Elon said. Let me show you what your battery design became. I can't leave my taxi. This is how I make money to feed Luna. 1 hour, Elon promised. Give me 1 hour, and I'll make sure you never have to worry about money again. Jeffrey wanted to say no. Every smart part of his brain told him to drive away. Rich people made promises they didn't keep. Rich people used poor people and threw them away. But Sarah's voice whispered in his memory. Jeffrey, you have to believe in something. You can't give up on your dreams. 1 hour, Jeffrey said finally. They drove to a part of the Tesla factory Jeffrey had never seen before. It was behind the main building, hidden by tall trees and a high fence. Elon used a special keycard to get through 3 different security doors. Why all the security? Jeffrey asked. You'll see, Elon said. Inside, the building hummed with quiet energy. Engineers worked at computer screens, showing designs Jeffrey didn't recognize. In the center of the room sat something large covered by a white sheet. How many people know about this place? Jeffrey asked. 5. Elon said. Including you. Jeffrey looked around. The computers showed battery designs, but they were different from anything he had ever seen. More complex, more powerful. 3 years ago, Elon began. Your battery design had an error, but the core idea was genius. The way you arranged the lithium cells, the cooling system you designed, the charging algorithm you wrote. Jeffrey felt his throat tighten. You kept working on it after you fired me? We had to. It was too important to abandon. Elon walked over to the covered object in the center of the room. Jeffrey, meet the future. He pulled off the white sheet. Underneath sat a battery about the size of a large suitcase, but the computer screen next to it showed numbers that made Jeffrey's eyes go wide. This can't be right, Jeffrey whispered. The screen showed incredible power levels. Energy storage that should have been impossible. Charging speeds that broke every rule Jeffrey knew about batteries. It's right, Elon said. This battery can power a house for a month on a single charge. It charges completely in 5 minutes, and it never loses power, even after 10,000 charge cycles. Jeffrey stumbled backward. That's impossible. Your design made it possible. You figured out how to arrange the cells in a way no one had ever tried before. The mistake in your original code actually led us to the breakthrough. Jeffrey felt dizzy. His legs were shaking. My mistake led to this? Your mistake taught us something new about voltage distribution. When we fixed it and kept testing, we discovered your design could handle much more power than we thought. Elon gestured around the room. We've built 50 of these batteries. They're being tested in secret locations all over the world. Cars, homes, even small towns. And they all work? Better than we dreamed. Jeffrey, your battery design is going to change everything. No more gas stations, no more power plants burning coal. No more pollution choking kids like Luna. Jeffrey sat down hard in a nearby chair. 3 years of thinking he was a failure. 3 years of believing his mistake had ruined everything. And all this time, his work had been succeeding beyond his wildest dreams. Why didn't you tell me? He asked. Elon looked uncomfortable. At first, we needed to keep it secret. This technology is worth billions of dollars. Other countries would kill to get their hands on it. But later, when Sarah was dying, Elon's voice got very quiet. I was ashamed. I had treated you terribly. I didn't know how to face you. I kept telling myself I would call you when the project was finished, but you never did. I'm a coward, Elon admitted. I'm good at building rockets and cars, but I'm terrible at admitting when I'm wrong. Jeffrey looked at the incredible battery, his design, his dream, his life's work. What happens now? He asked. We need you, Elon said. Not just your brain, your heart. You designed this to help people, not to make money. Only you can make sure we use it the right way. Jeffrey thought about Luna coughing in her bed that morning. He thought about all the kids around the world who couldn't breathe clean air. He thought about Sarah, who had believed in him even when he stopped believing in himself. We're planning to announce it next month, Elon continued. The president wants to be there. We're going to change the world, Jeffrey. But we need the man who started it all. Jeffrey stood up slowly. His head was spinning with possibilities. Clean air for Luna. No more choosing between medicine and electricity. No more driving taxi 12 hours a day. But there was something in Elon's eyes. Something he wasn't saying. There's more, isn't there? Jeffrey asked. Elon reached into his jacket again and pulled out a folder. There's something else, Elon said. Something I need to show you. But not here. He handed Jeffrey the folder. It was sealed with red tape. Take this home. Don't open it until you're alone with Luna. And Jeffrey? Yes. What's inside will explain everything. Why I really fired you. Why this had to be kept secret. Why your wife's death wasn't your fault. Jeffrey took the folder with shaking hands. What do you mean it wasn't my fault? Elon looked him straight in the eyes. Promise me you won't open this until you get home. Promise me Luna will be with you when you read it. Why? Because, Elon said quietly, she's going to need to comfort her father when he learns the truth. Jeffrey drove home through the Austin streets in a daze. The sealed folder sat on the passenger seat like a sleeping bomb. His hands shook every time he looked at it. What truth could be so terrible that Luna would need to comfort him? What hadn't Elon told him about Sarah's death? The rain had stopped, but dark clouds still covered the sky. Jeffrey parked his taxi in front of their small apartment building. It was old and the paint was peeling, but it was. Luna ran to meet him at the front door. She was 8 years old with her mother's kind brown eyes and her father's stubborn chin. Her black hair was in pigtails, and she wore a yellow dress that was too small but still her favorite. "Daddy, you're home early, and you look different." Jeffrey tried to smile. "Different how, little star?" "Happy," Luna said, hugging his legs tight. "You look happy for the first time in forever." Jeffrey's heart broke a little. Had he been that sad for so long that his 8-year-old daughter noticed? "I might have some good news," he said carefully, "but we need to talk about it together." Luna's eyes got wide. "Good news? Real good news?" "Maybe. Are you hungry?" They walked into their tiny apartment. It had 2 small bedrooms, a kitchen with old appliances, and a living room with furniture from garage sales. But Luna had filled it with her drawings and school projects. Pictures of cars with wings covered the refrigerator. Jeffrey made dinner while Luna did her homework at the kitchen table. Just mac and cheese from a box, but tonight it tasted better than usual. Maybe hope made everything taste better. "How was school today?" Jeffrey asked. "Good, we're doing science projects. I'm making a volcano that explodes." Jeffrey smiled. Luna loved science just like he did. She was always asking questions about how things worked. Why was the sky blue? How did cars move? Could people really fly to the moon? "What kind of volcano?" he asked. "The kind with baking soda and vinegar. Amy says hers will be bigger, but mine is going to be the best, because I'm painting it to look like a real mountain." Luna chatted about school while they ate. Her best friend Amy, her teacher Mrs. Rodriguez, the boy named Tommy who pulled her hair but she thought maybe he liked her. Normal 8-year-old problems. Problems that had nothing to do with rent money or medicine costs or mysterious folders. After dinner, Luna curled up on the couch to watch cartoons. Jeffrey sat beside her, the folder heavy in his hands. "Luna," he said slowly, "remember how I told you that Daddy used to work on car batteries before I drove taxi? You made cars that didn't hurt the air." "That's right. Well, today I found out something important about that work." Luna looked up at him with serious eyes. Sometimes she seemed much older than 8. "What did you find out?" "I found out that my work wasn't a failure like I thought. The batteries I designed actually worked. They're going to help a lot of people." Luna smiled. "I told you so." Jeffrey blinked. "You told me so. I always knew you were still a superhero, Daddy. You just forgot for a while." Jeffrey felt tears in his eyes. His daughter had never stopped believing in him, even when he stopped believing in himself. "There's something else," he said. "The man I used to work for wants me to come back, to help make the batteries even better." Luna sat up straight. "Really? You mean you don't have to drive taxi anymore?" "Maybe not, but it would mean some big changes for us." "Good changes?" "I think so. But Luna, there's something I need to read first. Something that might make Daddy sad. Can you stay here with me while I read it?" Luna nodded seriously. "I'm good at making you feel better when you're sad." She was. When Jeffrey cried after Sarah died, Luna would bring him tissues and her favorite stuffed animal. When he worried about money, she would count her piggy bank coins and offer to help. She was the bravest person he knew. Jeffrey took a deep breath and opened the folder. Inside were three things: a job offer letter from Tesla, a check that made Jeffrey drop the folder entirely, and a handwritten note from Elon. The check fluttered to the floor like a falling leaf. Luna picked it up. "Daddy, this has a lot of zeros." Jeffrey couldn't speak. The check was for $1 million. Luna counted the zeros carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. "Daddy, that's $1 million. "Yes, little star. It is. Are we rich now?" Jeffrey was still staring at the check in shock. I think we might be." But then he read Elon's note, and his blood turned cold. "Jeffrey, this is not charity. It's payment for something you don't know about yet. Your wife Sarah didn't just call to ask for your job back. She called to tell me something else. Something about your battery design that I never told you. Before you decide anything, you need to know the whole truth. Look in your garage. Elon." Jeffrey felt like the world was spinning. "Luna, did we ever get anything delivered to our garage? Any boxes or packages?" Luna thought for a moment. "I don't think so. Why?" Jeffrey looked at the note again. "Look in your garage." They didn't have a garage. They lived in an apartment. The only garage he knew about was his old house. The house they had to sell when Sarah got sick. The house where they used to be happy. "Luna," Jeffrey said slowly, "do you remember our old house? The one with the garage where Daddy used to work on his project. The house where Mommy had her garden. Yes, we need to go there. Right now." Luna looked worried. "Is everything okay, Daddy?" Jeffrey looked at his daughter. So small and trusting and brave. Whatever was in that garage, whatever truth Elon was hiding, Luna would face it with him. "I don't know, little star. But whatever we find, we'll face it together. Okay?" Luna took his hand. "Okay, Daddy, together." Jeffrey and Luna drove through the quiet streets of their old neighborhood. The houses here were bigger than their apartment building. Green lawns, white picket fences, the kind of life they used to have before everything fell apart. Luna pressed her face against the window. "I remember this street. There's the park where Mommy used to push me on the swings." Jeffrey's throat felt tight. "Yes, little star. She loved taking you there." They turned onto Maple Street. Jeffrey's hands gripped the steering wheel as their old house came into view. It looked the same but different. The new owners had painted it blue instead of yellow. Sarah's rose garden was gone. "It looks sad without Mommy's flowers," Luna said quietly. Jeffrey parked across the street. The garage sat beside the house, just like he remembered. But something was different. There was a new lock on the door. A fancy electronic lock that didn't belong on an old garage. "Daddy, why does our old garage have a space-age lock?" "I don't know, little star, but I think we're about to find out." Jeffrey pulled out his phone and called the number on Elon's business card. "Jeffrey," Elon answered on the first ring. "Did you read the note?" "I'm at the house. What's in the garage, Elon?" "The code is 0315. Sarah's birthday." Jeffrey felt his heart skip. How did Elon know Sarah's birthday? "Elon, what's going on? How long have you owned my garage?" "Since the day after Sarah died." "I'll explain everything, but you need to see it first." The line went dead. Jeffrey and Luna walked up to the garage. Jeffrey typed Sarah's birthday into the electronic lock. It beeped and clicked open. "That's weird," Luna said. "Why would a stranger know Mommy's birthday?" Jeffrey pushed open the garage door. The automatic lights came on. Luna gasped. In the center of the garage sat a car. But not just any car. It was a Tesla Model S. But different from any Tesla Jeffrey had ever seen. The body was sleek and silver. Strange wires ran along the sides. The battery compartment was twice the normal size. "Daddy, Whose car is that? Jeffrey walked around the car like it was a dangerous animal. A letter was taped to the windshield with his name written in Elon's handwriting. His hands shook as he opened it. Jeffrey, this is prototype X1. The first car built with your battery design. We've been testing it here for 2 years while you drove taxi across town. This car drives 2,000 miles on one charge. It never breaks down, the battery never dies. It's perfect. But it's also dangerous in the wrong hands. That's why only 5 people in the world know it exists. That's why I needed you gone from Tesla while we perfected it. I couldn't risk corporate spies finding out about your design. I couldn't risk other countries stealing it, so I fired you publicly and built this in secret. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you the truth. I'm sorry I let you think you were a failure. But your design is the most important invention of the century. The $1 million is payment for 3 years of silence and suffering. The job offer is real, but the choice is yours. Sarah knew about this car. She helped us test it. Elon. Jeffrey read the letter twice. Then he read it again. His legs felt weak. Daddy? You look like you're going to fall down. Jeffrey sat on an old crate. Luna, come here. She walked over and stood between his knees, her small hands on his shoulders. Remember how I told you I made a mistake at work? And that's why I got fired? Yeah. Well, it turns out maybe it wasn't a mistake after all. Maybe everything that happened was part of a plan. Luna frowned. What kind of plan? Jeffrey looked at the incredible car. His design, his dream, his life's work, hidden in his old garage while he drove taxi and counted pennies. A plan to save the world, little star. But the plan meant Daddy had to be sad for a long time. That's a stupid plan, Luna said firmly. Plans shouldn't make Daddy sad. Jeffrey almost smiled. Leave it to an 8-year-old to cut through all the complexity. You're right, it was a stupid plan. Jeffrey stood up and walked to the car. The keys were sitting on the hood. He picked them up with shaking hands. Want to see how it works? He asked. Luna nodded excitedly. Jeffrey opened the driver's door. The inside looked like a spaceship. Screens and buttons he didn't recognize. But when he put the key in the ignition, the car started with a soft hum. The dashboard lit up with incredible numbers. Battery power, 100%. Range, 2,247 miles. 0 emissions. 0 pollution. Daddy, look at all those lights. Jeffrey stared at the display. All this time, while he struggled to pay for Luna's medicine, the answer to their problems had been sitting 20 feet from their old bedroom. But there was something else bothering him. Something in Elon's letter. Sarah knew about this car. She helped us test it. How could Sarah have helped test a secret car? She was sick for the last year of her life. She could barely walk to the mailbox. Jeffrey's phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. The car's glove compartment. There's something Sarah wanted you to have. Jeffrey opened the glove compartment with trembling fingers. Inside was a small video camera and a folded piece of paper. The paper had Sarah's handwriting. My darling Jeffrey, if you're reading this, then Elon finally kept his promise. I made him swear he would show you this car when you were ready to believe in yourself again. I've been riding in this car for months, helping test your amazing battery. Every time we drove it, I thought about you and how proud I was. You never failed, my love. You succeeded beyond your wildest dreams. You just didn't know it. Watch the video. I made it for you and Luna. All my love, Sarah. Luna appeared beside him. She had climbed into the passenger seat and was looking at her mother's letter. Daddy, she whispered, Mommy knew about the secret car. Jeffrey couldn't speak. He just held up the video camera with shaking hands. Should we watch it? Luna asked quietly. Jeffrey looked at his daughter. So small and brave and wise. Whatever was on that video Whatever truth Sarah had left for them, they would face it together, just like they faced everything else. Yes, little star. Let's see what Mommy wanted to tell us. Jeffrey and Luna sat in the secret Tesla staring at the small video camera. The garage was quiet, except for the soft hum of the car's engine. "Are you ready, little star?" Jeffrey asked. Luna nodded and took his hand. "Together, remember." Jeffrey pressed the play button with a shaking finger. The screen lit up. Sarah appeared, sitting in this same car. She looked thin and pale, but her eyes were bright with excitement. She wore the yellow scarf Luna had given her for Christmas. "Hi, my beautiful family," Sarah said, smiling at the camera. "If you're watching this, it means Daddy finally found his secret car." Luna squeezed Jeffrey's hand tighter. "Jeffrey, you look so confused right now. I can see it on your face even though I'm not there." Sarah laughed, and it sounded like music. "Let me explain everything." Sarah shifted in the car seat. She looked directly into the camera. "6 months ago, Elon called me. He told me about your battery design, how it worked perfectly, how it was going to change the world. But he also told me something else." Jeffrey held his breath. "He told me that other countries were trying to steal your ideas. Bad people who wanted to use your batteries for weapons instead of helping families. So Tesla had to keep it secret. They had to make everyone think the project failed." Sarah coughed, but kept talking. "That meant you had to stay away from Tesla. If you came back too soon, the spies would know the project was still alive, but Elon needed someone to test the car. Someone who understood your design." Jeffrey felt the world spinning around him. "She helped test it," he whispered. "I volunteered," Sarah continued on the video. "Every Tuesday and Thursday when you were driving taxi, Elon would pick me up. We would drive this amazing car all over Texas, testing the battery, making sure it was safe." Luna gasped. "Mommy was a secret spy." "I wasn't supposed to tell you," Sarah said, as if she could hear Luna. "But riding in this car gave me hope. Every mile we drove, I thought about you, Jeffrey. About how proud I was, about how your brilliant mind was going to save the world." Sarah's voice got softer. "I know you blame yourself for my sickness. I know you think you failed us. But Jeffrey, you never failed. You succeeded beyond our wildest dreams." Tears were streaming down Jeffrey's face. Luna climbed onto his lap and hugged him tight. "The doctors told me I had 6 months to live," Sarah continued. "But testing your car gave me purpose. Every day I got to see your genius at work. Every day I got to be part of something bigger than my cancer." The video showed Sarah driving the car down an empty highway. The dashboard displayed impossible numbers, 500 miles driven. Battery still at 9. "I lived 8 months instead of 6, Sarah said, looking back at the camera. "I got to see Luna's 7th birthday. I got to hold your hand through Christmas. I got to know that my husband was going to change the world." Sarah pulled the car over and turned to face the camera directly. "Jeffrey, by the time you see this video, the car will be perfect. Your battery will be ready to help millions of families breathe clean air. Kids like Luna won't have to worry about pollution making them sick." She reached toward the camera like she was trying to touch Jeffrey's face. "I'm not sad to leave because I know what you're going to do with this gift. You're going to make the world better for our daughter. You're going to be the hero Luna always believed you were." The video switched to another day. Sarah was in the passenger seat now. Elon was driving. "We hit 1,500 miles today," Sarah said excitedly. "The battery is still at 95%. Jeffrey, your design is a miracle." Elon's voice came from behind the camera. "Tell him about the speed test." Sarah grinned. "We drove 120 miles per hour for 2 hours straight. The car didn't even get warm. Your cooling system is perfect." Jeffrey couldn't believe what he was seeing. While he was working 3 jobs and worrying about rent money, his dying wife was helping perfect his invention. The video cut to Sarah sitting in their old living room. She looked very sick now, but determined. "Jeffrey," she said, "Elon wanted to tell you the truth sooner, but I made him promise to wait. You needed time to grieve. You needed to find your strength again. And Luna needed to see that her daddy could survive anything." Sarah looked directly at the camera. "When you're ready, really ready, Elon will offer you your dream job back. Take it. Not for the money, not for the fame. Take it because the world needs your brilliant mind." She paused and smiled. "And take it because Luna deserves to see her father shine." The video ended. Jeffrey and Luna sat in silence for a long moment. The only sound was the gentle hum of the revolutionary car around them. "Daddy," Luna finally whispered, "Mommy was helping you even when you didn't know it." Jeffrey couldn't speak. He just held his daughter and cried. His phone rang. Elon's number. "Did you watch it?" Elon asked gently. "Yes." "There's more, Jeffrey. We've been testing 50 cars like this one. They all work perfectly. But we can't mass produce them without you." Jeffrey looked at Luna. She nodded encouragingly. "The president wants to announce the technology next month," Elon continued. "Clean energy for everyone. Jobs for millions of people. The end of pollution in our cities." "What do you need from me?" Jeffrey asked. "I need you to come back to Tesla, not as an employee, as my partner. Chief Technology Officer. Your name on every battery we build." Jeffrey closed his eyes. Sarah's words echoed in his mind. "Take it because Luna deserves to see her father shine." "I'll take the job," Jeffrey said, "but I have conditions." "Name them." Jeffrey looked at Luna, who was grinning proudly. "First, I want to drive this car home. Luna and I have some catching up to do." Elon laughed. "It's yours. Sarah made me promise you'd get the first prototype." "And second," Jeffrey continued, "when we announce this to the world, I want to tell them about Sarah. She was part of this team too." "Of course," Elon said softly. "She was the best test driver we ever had." Jeffrey started the incredible car. It moved like a whisper. "Ready for the ride of your life, little star?" Luna buckled her seatbelt and grinned. "Let's go save the world, Daddy." Jeffrey pressed the start button and the incredible Tesla came to life with a whisper. The dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree, showing numbers that still made his head spin. "Daddy, it's so quiet," Luna said, bouncing in her seat. "Are we really moving?" They backed out of the garage slowly. The car felt like it was floating on air. No vibrations, no engine noise, just smooth, perfect power. Jeffrey drove carefully through their old neighborhood, past the park where Sarah used to push Luna on the swings, past the ice cream shop where they celebrated Luna's birthdays, past the life they used to have before everything fell apart. "Can we go faster?" Luna asked. Jeffrey looked at the speedometer. They were only going 25 miles per hour, but it felt like they were gliding. "Let's find a safe place to test it properly." They drove toward the Texas Hill Country, away from the city. The afternoon sun broke through the clouds for the first time all day. Maybe it was a sign that better days were coming. After 20 minutes, they reached an empty stretch of highway. Rolling hills stretched in both directions. No other cars in sight. "Hold on tight, little star." Jeffrey pressed the gas pedal. The car shot forward like a rocket, but instead of the roar of an engine, there was only the whisper of wind. They accelerated from 30 to 60 to 80 miles per hour in seconds. "This is amazing," Luna shouted, laughing with pure joy. Jeffrey looked at the dashboard. They had been driving for an hour and covered 85 miles. The battery still showed 98. "Look at this, Luna." He pointed to the screen. "We could drive to California and back without stopping to charge." "Really? Really?" Your daddy made something pretty special. They drove for another hour, winding through the Texas hills. The car handled every curve like it was reading Jeffrey's mind. Perfect steering, perfect brakes, perfect balance. Jeffrey pulled over at a scenic overlook. Below them, Austin spread out like a toy city. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. "It's beautiful up here," Luna said. They got out and sat on the car's hood, looking out over the city. Luna leaned against her father's shoulder. "Daddy, are you sad about Mommy keeping the secret?" Jeffrey thought about it. A week ago, he might have been angry. He might have felt betrayed. But now, after seeing Sarah's video, he understood. "No, little star. Mommy was protecting us. She was making sure we would be okay after she was gone. She was smart. The smartest person I ever knew." Jeffrey's phone buzzed. A text message from Elon. "How's the drive? The president wants to meet you tomorrow. Are you ready to change the world?" Jeffrey showed the text to Luna. Her eyes got wide. "The president? Like the real president?" "The real president. Are you going to tell him about me?" Jeffrey laughed. "I'm going to tell everyone about you. About how my brilliant daughter never stopped believing in her daddy, even when he stopped believing in himself." Luna smiled proudly. Another text from Elon. "There's one more video on the camera. Sarah made it just for Luna." Jeffrey looked at the small camera still sitting in the car. "Luna, there's another message. Just for you." They got back in the car. Jeffrey found the second video file and pressed play. Sarah appeared on screen again. This time she was in Luna's bedroom in their old house, surrounded by Luna's stuffed animals and drawings. "Hi, my brave little girl," Sarah said softly. "If you're watching this, it means Daddy finally found his courage again." Luna's eyes filled with tears, but she smiled. "Luna, I need you to know something very important. When Daddy was sad and thought he was a failure, you were the only one who never stopped believing in him. You were his light in the darkness." Sarah picked up Luna's favorite stuffed elephant from the bed. "Mr. Peanuts and I used to talk about you all the time. About how proud we were. About how you took care of Daddy when Mommy couldn't anymore." Luna wiped her eyes. She remembered Mr. Peanuts. "You're going to do amazing things, Luna Chen," Sarah continued. "Maybe you'll be a scientist like Daddy. Maybe you'll be something completely different. But whatever you choose, remember that you come from a family of people who change the world." Sarah held the stuffed elephant close. "Take care of your daddy, okay? Help him remember that he's a hero. And remember that Mommy loves you more than all the stars in the sky." The video ended with Sarah blowing a kiss at the camera. Luna was quiet for a long moment. "Daddy." "Yes, little star. I think Mommy would be happy about today." Jeffrey hugged his daughter tight. "I think so too." His phone rang. This time it wasn't Elon. It was a number he didn't recognize with a Washington, D.C. area code. Jeffrey answered carefully.
"Hello, Mr. Chen. This is President Martinez's office. The president would like to meet with you and Mr. Musk tomorrow morning to discuss your battery technology."
Jeffrey nearly dropped the phone. "The president wants to meet with me?" Luna's mouth fell open. "Yes, sir. This technology could change America's energy future. The president wants to hear from the inventor himself." Jeffrey looked out over Austin. Just this morning, he had been a taxi driver counting coins for his daughter's medicine. Now the President of the United States wanted to meet with him. "What time?" Jeffrey asked. "Air Force One will pick you up at Austin Airport at 7 a.m. Please bring any family you'd like to have there. This is a historic moment." Jeffrey looked at Luna, who was practically bouncing with excitement. "I'll bring my daughter," he said. "She's my inspiration for everything." After he hung up, Luna threw her arms around him. "Daddy, we're going to meet the president." "We sure are, little star." As they drove home in the revolutionary car, Jeffrey thought about the incredible day. From taxi driver to presidential advisor in 12 hours. From failure to hero, from broken dreams to changing the world. But the best part wasn't the success or the money or even meeting the president. The best part was the little girl beside him, who had never stopped believing that her daddy could do anything. "Ready to go home?" Jeffrey asked. "Ready," Luna said. "Tomorrow we save the world. Tonight we celebrate." Jeffrey smiled and pressed the gas pedal. The silent car carried them toward home, toward their new life, toward a future brighter than any battery Jeffrey had ever dreamed of building. That evening, Jeffrey and Luna sat on their old couch in their tiny apartment. But everything felt different now. The same furniture, the same walls, but hope had changed the air itself. Luna was on the floor with crayons and paper, drawing pictures of the president. She gave him a cape and a big smile. "Do you think he'll like my drawing?" she asked. "He'll love it," Jeffrey said, watching his daughter color. "Presidents probably don't get many pictures drawn by 8-year-old artists." Jeffrey opened his laptop. His hands were still shaking from everything that had happened. This morning he was a taxi driver. Tonight he was going to meet the President of the United States. "Daddy, look." Luna held up her drawing. She had drawn 3 people standing together. A tall man in a suit, a man with dark hair, and a little girl with pigtails. Under it she had written "Saving the World" in big letters. "That's beautiful, little star. Is that supposed to be you, me, and the president?" "Yep. We're a team now." Jeffrey's email was full of messages. Reporters wanting interviews. Scientists asking about his battery design. Companies offering him millions of dollars. But one email caught his attention. It was from Dr. Sarah Kim, his old professor from college. "Jeffrey, I just heard the news about your Tesla breakthrough. I always knew you would change the world someday. Your mother would be so proud." Professor Kim. Jeffrey stared at the email. His mother had died when he was in college. She never got to meet Sarah or Luna. She never got to see him succeed. But maybe, somehow she knew. "Daddy, you look sad again," Luna said, climbing up on the couch beside him. "Just thinking about Grandma, the one you never got to meet. Mommy's mum or your mum?" "My mom. She died before I met Mommy. But she would have loved you so much." Luna snuggled close to him. "Maybe she's with Mommy now. Maybe they're both watching us." Jeffrey smiled. Kids always knew the right thing to say. His phone buzzed with another text from Elon. The news broke early. Tesla stock up 40%. Every news station wants to interview you. Are you ready for this? Jeffrey looked out their small window. Across the street he could see TV news trucks setting up. Reporters with cameras and microphones. "Luna, I think we're about to be famous." She pressed her face to the window. "Why are all those people here?" "Because the story about Daddy's battery got out. Everyone wants to know about the taxi driver who invented the future." Luna giggled. "That's a funny way to say it." Jeffrey's laptop chimed with a video call. Elon's face appeared on the screen. "Jeffrey, how are you holding up?" "I'm okay. A little overwhelmed." Elon looked tired but excited. "Listen, I need to prepare you for tomorrow. When we meet the president, he's going to ask you to explain your battery design in simple words. Can you do that?" Jeffrey thought about it. He had spent years talking to other engineers with big words and complicated formulas. But Luna had taught him to explain things simply. "I think so." "Good. Also, the president wants to make an announcement. He's going to tell the country that America just took the lead in clean energy technology, that your invention will create millions of jobs." Luna was listening carefully. "Daddy, you're going to be on TV." Elon smiled. "Hi, Luna. Are you excited about meeting the president?" "Yes, I made him a drawing, and I'm going to tell him about Mommy helping test the car." Elon's expression got soft. "That's perfect. Luna, The president should know that Sarah was part of our team. After they ended the video call, Jeffrey and Luna made dinner together. Just soup and sandwiches, but it tasted like a celebration meal. "Daddy, are you scared about tomorrow?" Luna asked. Jeffrey thought about it honestly. "A little. But you know what? I'm not scared the same way I used to be." "What do you mean?" "For 3 years I was scared because I thought I was a failure. I was scared because I didn't know how to take care of you. But now I know the truth. I know I can do hard things." Luna nodded seriously. "Plus, I'll be there with you." "That's right. We're a team." After dinner, they got ready for bed early. Tomorrow would be the biggest day of their lives. As Jeffrey tucked Luna into a small bed, she looked up at him with Sarah's eyes. "Daddy, I have a question." "What is it, little star?" "When we were poor and sad, were you ever sorry you had me? Like, did you wish you just had to take care of yourself?" Jeffrey felt his heart break a little. How could his amazing daughter ever think such a thing? He sat on the edge of her bed and took her small hands in his. "Luna Chen, listen to me very carefully. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Every hard day, every worry about money, every time I was tired or scared, you made it all worth it." Luna's eyes were serious. "You know how the battery works because all the little pieces work together," Jeffrey continued. "Well, our family is like that battery. Mommy gave us love. You give me courage, and I try to give you both a good life. We're stronger together. Even when Mommy was gone, especially then, you kept me going when I wanted to give up. You believed in me when I stopped believing in myself." Luna smiled. "I knew you were still a hero. Heroes just sometimes have sad parts in their stories." Jeffrey kissed her forehead. "Where did you get so wise?" "From Mommy. And from you." As Jeffrey turned out her light, Luna called out softly, "Daddy?" "Yes?" "Tomorrow when we meet the president, can you tell him that families like ours are the reason your battery is important? Not because of money or being famous, but because kids like me should get to breathe clean air." Jeffrey felt tears in his eyes. His 8-year-old daughter understood something that many grown-ups missed. Technology wasn't about being clever or getting rich. It was about making life better for people who needed help. "I promise, little star." "That's exactly what I'll tell him." Luna settled into her pillow with a contented sigh. Outside, Jeffrey could hear the news trucks and reporters. Tomorrow, the whole world would know his name. Presidents and scientists and business leaders would want to meet him. But tonight, the most important person in his world was sleeping peacefully in the next room, dreaming of clean air and heroes with sad parts in their stories. Jeffrey looked out the window one more time. The moon was bright and full. Somewhere out there, other families were struggling like he and Luna had struggled. Other kids were getting sick from dirty air. Other parents were choosing between medicine and groceries, but not for much longer. Tomorrow, everything would change. Jeffrey woke up to the sound of helicopters. He looked out the window and saw 3 news helicopters circling their apartment building like giant metal birds. "Daddy!" Luna burst into his room, still in her pajamas. "There are people everywhere." Jeffrey looked outside. The street was packed with reporters, cameras and TV trucks. People held signs that said, "Hero Taxi Driver" and "Clean Energy Now." His phone was buzzing with calls and text messages. Everyone wanted to talk to the man who had changed everything. "Are you scared, Daddy?" Luna asked, climbing onto his bed. "A little," Jeffrey admitted. "But I keep thinking about what Mommy would say." "What would she say?" "She'd say, Jeffrey, you have something the world needs. Don't be selfish with your gift." Luna nodded. Mommy was smart like that. They got dressed quickly. Luna wore her best dress, the blue one with flowers that Sarah had bought for her 7th birthday. Jeffrey put on his only good suit. It was old but clean. At exactly 6 a.m., a knock came at their door. Jeffrey opened it to find two Secret Service agents in black suits. "Mr. Chen, we're here to escort you to the airport. Air Force One is waiting." Luna's eyes got huge. "Are you real secret agents?" The taller agent smiled. "Yes, miss. And you must be Luna. The president is very excited to meet you." They walked outside through a crowd of reporters shouting questions. "Mr. Chen, how does it feel to go from taxi driver to national hero? Will your battery really save the environment? What would you say to other people who think they're failures?" Jeffrey stopped walking. The Secret Service agents looked worried, but Jeffrey had something important to say. "I want to tell you something," Jeffrey said into the microphones. 3 years ago, I thought I was the biggest failure in the world. I lost my job. My wife died. I drove taxi just to keep my daughter alive. The crowd got quiet. But I learned something important. Sometimes what looks like failure is really just the beginning of something better. My daughter never stopped believing in me, and that belief saved both of us. Luna took his hand and squeezed it. If there's another parent out there who's struggling, another kid who's sick from dirty air, another person who thinks they can't make a difference, this is for you. Don't give up. The world needs your gifts. The reporters cheered as Jeffrey and Luna got into the black government car. The drive to the airport was like a dream. Police cars in front and behind them, people lining the streets, waving and cheering. Luna pressed her face to the window, amazed. "Daddy, they're all here for us? They're here because they have hope again, little star." At the airport, Air Force One sat on the runway like a giant blue and white bird. Luna had never seen anything so big. "Is that really the president's airplane?" "That's it." Elon was waiting at the bottom of the stairs. He looked nervous but excited. "Ready to make history?" he asked. "Ready as we'll ever be," Jeffrey replied.
Inside Air Force One, everything was fancy. Leather seats, polished wood, and TVs everywhere showing news about Jeffrey's battery invention.
President Martinez came out to greet them. He was younger than Jeffrey expected, with kind eyes and a warm smile. "Dr. Chen, and you must be Luna." He knelt down to Luna's level. "I've heard amazing things about both of you." Luna pulled out her drawing from her backpack. "I made this for you, Mr. President." President Martinez studied the drawing carefully. 3 stick figures with capes standing in front of a car. "This is wonderful, Luna. Is this you, your father, and me saving the world?" "Yes. We're a team now." The president laughed. "I like the way you think." They sat in comfortable chairs as the plane took off. Jeffrey watched Texas get smaller below them. "Dr. Chen," the president said, "I want you to know that your invention is going to change America's future. We're going to announce a new program today. $10 billion to build factories that make your batteries. Millions of new jobs. Clean air for every child in America." Jeffrey felt overwhelmed. "Mr. President, I just wanted to make better car batteries. The best inventions always start that way. One person trying to solve a simple problem." Luna was looking out the window at the clouds. "Mr. President, can I ask you something?" "Of course. My mommy died because the air made her sick. Will Daddy's batteries really help other kids keep their mommies?" President Martinez's eyes got serious. "Luna, that's exactly why your father's work is so important. Clean energy means clean air. Clean air means healthier families." "Good," Luna said firmly, "because no other little girls should lose their mommies like I did." The president nodded. "You're absolutely right." They flew to Washington, D.C., where thousands of people waited outside the White House. The crowd cheered when they saw Jeffrey and Luna come down the aeroplane steps. Inside the White House, Jeffrey met senators, scientists, and business leaders. Everyone wanted to shake his hand and hear about his batteries. But the best moment came when they walked into the Oval Office. Luna gasped. "Is this where you work, Mr. President? This is it. What do you think? It's fancy, but our apartment is cozier." Everyone laughed. President Martinez sat behind the big wooden desk. Jeffrey and Luna sat in chairs across from him. "In 30 minutes we're going to hold a press conference," the president said. "I'm going to tell the country about Dr. Chen's incredible invention. But first, I want to ask you something, Dr. Chen." "What's that, sir?" "Are you ready for your life to completely change? After today, you'll be famous around the world. Everyone will want to meet you. You'll be very rich. You'll be very busy." Jeffrey looked at Luna. She nodded encouragingly. "Mr. President, 3 years ago I lost everything. My job, my wife, my hope. The only thing I had left was my daughter's belief in me." He took Luna's hand. "Today I get the chance to honor my wife's memory and build a better world for my daughter. I get to turn our pain into purpose. So yes, sir, I'm ready." President Martinez smiled. "Then let's go change the world." As they walked toward the press room, Luna tugged on Jeffrey's sleeve. "Daddy, are you nervous?" "A little. But I remember what Mommy always said." "What did she say?" "She said that brave doesn't mean you're not scared. Brave means you do the right thing even when you are scared." Luna grinned. "Then let's be brave together." The doors to the press room opened. Bright lights and cameras and hundreds of reporters waited inside. Jeffrey squeezed Luna's hand. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. Just like they had faced everything else. "Ready, little star? Ready, Daddy? Let's save the world." The press room was packed with reporters from around the world. Camera flashes popped like lightning as Jeffrey and Luna walked to the stage with President Martinez. Jeffrey felt his heart pounding, but Luna squeezed his hand and whispered, "Remember, Daddy, we're heroes with a sad part in our story. But now comes the happy part." President Martinez stepped up to the podium with the presidential seal. "Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a turning point in American history." The room fell silent. 3 days ago, Dr. Jeffrey Boycott was driving a taxi in Austin, Texas. Today, his revolutionary battery technology will transform how we power our nation. Jeffrey looked out at the sea of faces. Reporters, scientists, government officials. All of them listening to his story. Dr. Chen's batteries can power a car for 2,000 miles on a single charge. They charge in 5 minutes. They last forever. And they produce zero pollution. The crowd murmured with excitement. "But this isn't just about technology," President Martinez continued. "This is about a father who never gave up, a daughter who never stopped believing, and a country that's about to become the world leader in clean energy." President Martinez gestured to Jeffrey. "Dr. Chen, please tell America about your incredible journey." Jeffrey stepped to the microphone. His hands were shaking, but Luna stood right beside him, giving him strength. 3 years ago, I was fired from Tesla for making what everyone thought was a terrible mistake," Jeffrey began. "I lost my job. My wife got sick and died because we couldn't afford her treatment. I thought I was the biggest failure in the world." His voice got stronger as he continued. "But my 8-year-old daughter never stopped believing in me. Even when we had to choose between her asthma medicine and our electric bill, she told people her daddy was a hero who just hadn't saved the world yet." Some reporters wiped their eyes. "Yesterday, I learned that my mistake actually led to the greatest breakthrough in battery technology history. All those nights, Luna and I counted coins for grocery money. My design was secretly being perfected in a laboratory." Jeffrey looked down at Luna, who nodded encouragingly. "This technology isn't about making me rich or famous. It's about making sure no other child loses their parent to pollution. It's about clean air for kids like Luna, who struggle to breathe." The room erupted in applause. President Martinez returned to the podium. We are announcing today a $10 billion investment in Dr. Chen's battery technology. We will build factories in every state. We will create millions of jobs. And within 5 years, every American will have access to clean, affordable energy. More applause filled the room. But there's something else, the president continued. Dr. Chen has asked that we remember his late wife, Sarah Chen, who secretly helped test this technology before she died. She was a hero too. Jeffrey felt tears in his eyes. Sarah would have loved this moment. A reporter raised her hand. Dr. Chen, what do you want to tell other people who think they're failures? Jeffrey looked at Luna, then back at the cameras. I want to tell them what my daughter taught me. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually preparing you for the best thing. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on yourself. And never underestimate the power of someone believing in you. Another reporter called out, Luna, what do you want other kids to know? Luna stepped closer to the microphone. Jeffrey adjusted it down to her height. I want them to know that their daddies and mommies are heroes, even when they feel sad. Luna said in her clear, brave voice. And I want them to know that they can breathe clean air now because my daddy never stopped trying to help people. The room was completely quiet. Then, slowly, everyone began to clap. It started as gentle applause but grew louder and louder until the entire room was giving Luna a standing ovation. President Martinez wiped his eyes. Out of the mouths of babes, he said softly. After the press conference, they were rushed to a waiting car. But as they walked through the White House hallway, Jeffrey's phone rang. The caller ID said Luna's school. Jeffrey felt his blood turn cold. Luna was right here with him. Why was her school calling? Mr. Chen? It was Mrs. Rodriguez, Luna's teacher. I'm so sorry to bother you, but we have an emergency. There's been a chemical leak at the factory next to our school. Several children have been hospitalized with breathing problems. Jeffrey stopped walking. What kind of chemical leak? Toxic fumes from car battery manufacturing. The old, dirty kind. Mr. Chen, if your new clean batteries had been available sooner. Jeffrey looked at Luna, who was listening with wide, worried eyes. Which children are in the hospital? He asked. Amy Peterson, Tommy Williams, 8 other kids from Luna's class. They're all having severe asthma attacks. Luna gasped. Amy? My best friend Amy. We're on our way, Jeffrey told the teacher. President Martinez overheard the conversation. Dr. Chen, take Air Force One back to Austin immediately. Those children need the best doctors, and you need to be with your community. As they rushed back to the airplane, Luna was crying. Daddy, Amy can't breathe because of the old, dirty batteries? Yes, little star, the kind you're going to replace with clean ones. Yes. Luna looked up at him with tears in her eyes. Then we have to work faster, Daddy. We can't let any more kids get sick. On the flight back to Austin, Jeffrey held Luna as she worried about her friends. Through the airplane window, he could see the world below, cities full of cars and factories, still using old, dirty technology. But now he had the power to change all of that. Daddy, Luna said as they began their descent, when Amy gets better, can you promise her that her kids will never have to worry about bad air? Jeffrey kissed the top of his daughter's head. I promise, little star. That's exactly what we're going to do. The hospital in Austin was chaos when Jeffrey and Luna arrived. Parents crying in the waiting room. Doctors rushing between rooms. The smell of medicine and fear everywhere. Mrs. Rodriguez met them at the entrance. Her eyes were red from crying. Thank God you're here, Mr. Chen. The children are stable, but they're having trouble breathing. The doctors say the chemical fumes damaged their lungs. Luna grabbed Jeffrey's hand tightly. Can we see Amy? Of course, sweetheart. They walked through the hospital corridors. Luna's footsteps echoed on the shiny floors. Jeffrey remembered walking these same halls when Sarah was sick. The same worried feeling in his stomach. Amy's room was full of machines. Tubes helped her breathe. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Peterson, sat beside her bed looking exhausted. "Oh, Luna." Mrs. Peterson hugged her. "Amy kept asking for you." Amy's eyes opened when she heard Luna's voice. She tried to smile, but the oxygen mask made it hard to talk. "Hi," Amy whispered through the mask. "I saw you on TV. You were so brave." Luna sat in the chair beside Amy's bed. "I was scared, but Daddy says being brave means doing the right thing even when you're scared." Amy nodded weakly. Mr. Peterson looked at Jeffrey. "Is it true? Your battery technology could have prevented this." Jeffrey felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. "Yes. Clean batteries don't need toxic chemicals to make. If we had switched to my design sooner." He couldn't finish the sentence. "Don't blame yourself," Mrs. Peterson said gently. "You're going to make sure this never happens again." They visited all 10 sick children. Each room broke Jeffrey's heart a little more. These were Luna's friends. Kids who should be playing and laughing, not fighting to breathe. In the hallway, Jeffrey's phone rang. It was Elon. "Jeffrey, I just heard about the children. How bad is it?" "Bad. 10 kids hospitalized because of toxic fumes from battery manufacturing. The old way of making batteries. We can fix this," Elon said urgently. "I've been talking to factory owners across Texas. They want to switch to your clean process immediately. No more toxic chemicals, no more dangerous fumes. How quickly can we do it?" 6 months if we work around the clock." "But Jeffrey, we need your help. Only you understand the chemistry well enough to train the workers safely." Jeffrey looked through the window at Luna, who was reading a book to Amy. "What do you need from me?" "Everything. Full-time commitment. You'd have to travel to factories across the country. Long hours, lots of time away from Luna." Jeffrey felt torn in half. His daughter needed him. But other people's children needed him too. "Let me think about it." After hanging up, Jeffrey sat in the hospital chair and put his head in his hands. How do you choose between being a good father and saving lives? "Daddy," Luna appeared beside him. "Amy's sleeping now." "She looks better." "That's good, little star." Luna climbed onto his lap, even though she was really too big for it. The doctor told Amy's mom that kids all over the country are getting sick from dirty air. "Is that true?" Jeffrey nodded sadly. "And your batteries can fix that?" "Yes. But it means Daddy would have to work very hard, travel to lots of places, be away from you sometime." Luna was quiet for a long moment. She looked through the window at Amy's sleeping form. "Daddy, remember when Mommy was sick and you worked 3 jobs?" "Yes. You were gone a lot then too. But I knew you were doing it because you loved us." Jeffrey felt his eyes fill with tears. "If you work hard to make the batteries now, you'd be doing it because you love all the kids, right? Not just me?" "That's right, little star." Luna hugged him tight. "Then I think you should do it. Amy needs you to help her breathe better. And all the other kids too. But what about you? Who will take care of you when I'm traveling?" Luna smiled. "I'm 8 now, Daddy. I'm pretty tough. And remember what Mommy always said." "What did she say?" "She said sometimes we have to be a little sad now so other people can be happy later. She said that's what love looks like." Jeffrey stared at his daughter. When had she gotten so wise? His phone buzzed with a text from Elon. "Jeffrey, I just got a call from the governor. 3 more factories had chemical leaks today. Dozens more children hospitalized. We need to move fast." Jeffrey looked at Luna, then at Amy breathing through her oxygen mask. "Daddy," Luna said softly. "I want to tell you something Amy said when you weren't in the room." "What did she say?" "She said she wasn't mad about getting sick. She said if it helps you save other kids faster, Then something good came from something bad. Jeffrey felt like his heart might break from pride and sadness at the same time. Are you sure about this, little star? It won't be easy. Luna stood up and took his hand. Daddy, 3 years ago you lost your job because you tried to make something that would help people. Today, kids are in the hospital because nobody had your invention yet. She looked right into his eyes with Sarah's wise expression. I don't want you to be sad about Amy and the other kids for the rest of your life. I want you to be happy because you saved millions of kids who haven't even been born yet. Jeffrey pulled out his phone and called Elon back. I'm in, he said. But I have one condition. What's that? Jeffrey looked at Luna, who was nodding encouragingly. My daughter comes with me to every factory. She wants to meet the workers who are going to build the clean batteries. She says they should know whose future they're protecting. Elon laughed. Deal. Luna's going to make an excellent chief inspiration officer. As they walked out of the hospital that evening, Luna skipped beside Jeffrey. Daddy, I'm excited about our new adventure, even though it will be hard work and lots of traveling. Especially because of that, Luna said. Mommy always said the best adventures are the ones where you help people. Jeffrey looked up at the Texas sky. Somewhere up there, Sarah was probably smiling. Ready to change the world, little star? Ready, Daddy? Let's make sure no more kids have to sleep in hospitals. 6 months later, Jeffrey stood on stage at Tesla's biggest event ever. The Austin Convention Center was packed with thousands of people. Cameras from around the world recorded every word. But this time felt different from the presidential press conference. This time, Jeffrey wasn't nervous. Luna stood beside him wearing a lab coat that said Chief Inspiration Officer on the pocket. 6 months ago, Jeffrey said into the microphone, my daughter and I visited 10 children in the hospital. They were sick because of toxic chemicals from old battery factories. The crowd was completely silent. Today, I'm proud to tell you that all 10 children are healthy and back in school. And more importantly, we've converted every battery factory in Texas to clean production. The audience erupted in cheers. Luna stepped forward to her own microphone. Over the past 6 months, she had gotten very good at public speaking. Hi everyone, I'm Luna Chen and I'm 8.5 now. My daddy and I have been traveling to factories all over America, teaching people how to make batteries that don't hurt the air. She pointed to the giant screen behind them, which showed pictures of their journey. Jeffrey and Luna in hard hats, talking to factory workers. Luna drawing pictures for children in other states. Families whose kids could finally breathe clean air. We've met so many amazing people, Luna continued. Like Mrs. Garcia in California, whose son had asthma but can now play soccer. And Mr. Johnson in Michigan, who learned to make clean batteries and got a better job to feed his family. Jeffrey felt proud watching his daughter speak with such confidence. Traveling together had changed both of them. Luna was braver, wiser, more sure of herself. And Jeffrey had learned that being a good father sometimes meant showing your child how to help others. But today is special, Jeffrey said, taking back the microphone, because we're not just talking about helping America anymore, we're talking about helping the whole world. The lights dimmed and a car drove onto the stage. It looked like the prototype they had discovered in their old garage, but sleeker and more beautiful. This is the Tesla Model Z, Jeffrey announced. The first mass-produced car powered entirely by my clean battery design. The crowd gasped as numbers appeared on the screen. Range 2,500 miles. Charge time 3 minutes. Price cheaper than regular cars. Starting next month, these cars will be sold in every country on Earth, Jeffrey continued. Clean air for everyone. Good jobs for millions of families. A healthy planet for our children. Luna ran over and hugged him. The audience gave them a standing ovation that lasted 5 minutes. After the presentation, they walked backstage, where Elon was waiting with a huge smile. Jeffrey, you did it. Orders are already coming in from 50 countries. We're going to change the world. We already have, Jeffrey said, looking at Luna. One factory at a time. One family at a time. Luna tugged on his sleeve. Daddy, can we go visit Amy now? She wanted to watch us on TV. They drove to Amy's house in the new Tesla Model Z. It was silent as a whisper and smooth as a dream. Amy was waiting on her front porch, completely healthy and grinning from ear to ear.
Luna, I saw you on TV. You were amazing.
The two girls hugged and ran into the backyard to play. Jeffrey sat on the porch with Amy's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Peterson. It's hard to believe, Mrs. Peterson said. 6 months ago, Amy couldn't breathe. Today, she's the healthiest she's ever been. The air quality in Austin has improved 60% since the factory switched to your process, Mr. Peterson added. Kids all over the city are breathing easier. Jeffrey watched Luna and Amy playing on the swing set. Two little girls who almost lost each other to pollution, now healthy and happy and full of dreams. His phone buzzed with a text message from Dr. Williams. Amy's doctor, Jeffrey, I wanted you to know childhood asthma rates in Texas have dropped 40% in the last 6 months. You saved thousands of lives. Jeffrey showed the message to the Petersons. Mrs. Peterson started crying happy tears. Jeffrey, how can we ever thank you? You just did, Jeffrey said, watching Luna and Amy laugh together. You let your daughter be healthy and happy. That's all the thanks I need. That evening, Jeffrey and Luna sat in their old apartment. But everything was different now. They didn't worry about money anymore. They didn't count coins for groceries. Jeffrey had enough saved to buy Luna anything she wanted. But the best part wasn't the money. The best part was the purpose. Daddy, Luna said, curled up beside him on the couch, I got a letter today. From who, little star? Luna pulled out a crayon-drawn envelope. Inside was a picture from a little boy in Japan. His name is Hiro. He's 6 years old. His mommy wrote that the air in Tokyo is cleaner now because of our batteries. Hiro drew us a picture of his family breathing happy air. Jeffrey looked at the drawing. A stick figure family standing under a blue sky with the sun smiling down on them. He wrote something on the back, Luna said, turning over the paper. In careful English letters, someone had helped Hiro write, Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey and Miss Luna, for making my mommy not cough anymore. Jeffrey felt tears in his eyes. This was what success really looked like. Not money or fame or meeting presidents. Success looked like a 6-year-old boy in Japan whose mother could breathe. We have 47 more letters like that, Luna said proudly, from kids all over the world. 47. Yep, I'm gonna write back to all of them. And Daddy? Yes, little star. I want to keep traveling with you. I want to meet more families like Hiro's. I want to help you make sure every kid in the world can breathe clean air. Jeffrey hugged his daughter tight. 3 years ago, he had been a broken man driving a taxi. His wife was gone. His dreams were shattered. He thought he was the world's biggest failure. But Luna had never stopped believing. Sarah had never stopped fighting. And somehow, their love had carried him through the darkness to this moment. Ready for our next adventure, Chief Inspiration Officer Chen? Luna grinned. Ready, Chief Technology Officer Chen? Let's save the whole world this time. Outside their window, Austin's skyline glittered in the distance. Clean air filled the night. Somewhere, children were sleeping peacefully in their beds instead of hospital rooms. And somewhere else, other inventors were probably sitting in their own dark moments, thinking they were failures, not knowing that their breakthrough was just around the corner. Jeffrey hoped they had someone like Luna believing in them too. 1 year after the Tesla presentation, Jeffrey woke up to find Luna sitting at their kitchen table with papers spread everywhere. She was writing carefully with her favorite purple pen. What are you working on so early, little star? Jeffrey asked, pouring himself coffee. Luna looked up with bright eyes. It's a surprise, Daddy, but I need to tell you something important first. Jeffrey sat down beside her. Luna only used that serious voice when something big was on her mind. Remember the day Mommy died? Luna asked quietly. Jeffrey felt his heart tighten. They didn't talk about that day very often. Yes, I remember. I never told you what happened right before she went to sleep forever. Luna folded her hands in her lap the way she did when she was thinking hard. The nurse had given her medicine to help her not hurt anymore. You had gone to get us sandwiches from the cafeteria. Mommy called me over to her bed. Jeffrey leaned forward. What did she say? She was very weak. But she grabbed my hand tight. She said, Luna, I need you to promise me something very important. Tears started in Luna's eyes, but she kept talking. She said, your daddy is going to be very sad for a while. He's going to think he failed everyone. But Luna, he's going to invent something amazing that saves the whole world. And when that day comes, you have to make sure he knows it was always meant to happen. Jeffrey felt like he couldn't breathe. Mommy said that Daddy's battery design was perfect from the very beginning. She said the mistake wasn't really a mistake. It was the universe's way of making sure the invention came at exactly the right time. Luna wiped her eyes with her sleeve. She made me promise to keep believing in you, even when you stopped believing in yourself. She said, that's how miracles work. Someone has to keep the hope alive until the person who needs it can find it again. Jeffrey stared at his daughter. Luna, you were only 5 years old. How could you understand all that? I didn't understand the words, Luna admitted. But I understood the feeling. Mommy's love was so strong that day. It felt like it filled up my whole body. And every time you were sad, I could feel that love telling me to keep believing. Jeffrey pulled Luna onto his lap and held her tight. You carried that secret for 4 years. It wasn't a secret exactly. It was more like a superpower. The superpower of believing in someone even when they can't believe in themselves. Luna wiggled out of his arms and pointed to the papers on the table. But now I have a real secret. And it's time to tell you. She handed him a thick folder. On the cover, Luna had drawn a picture of the Earth surrounded by hearts. The title said, The Luna Foundation, in her careful handwriting. Jeffrey opened the folder. Inside were business plans, letters from lawyers and bank statements. All in Luna's name. Luna, what is all this? Remember all the money you made from the battery patents and the prize money from the president and the Nobel Peace Prize? Jeffrey nodded. Over the past year, awards and payments had made them very wealthy. Well, you always said we had more money than we could ever spend. So I decided to start something with it. Luna pointed to the first page of her plan. The Luna Foundation gives scholarships to kids whose parents lost their jobs, like you did. It pays for medicine for families who can't afford it, like we couldn't. And it gives money to inventors who are working on things to help people but don't have enough funds to finish. Jeffrey flipped through the pages, amazed. His 9-year-old daughter had created a detailed business plan. Luna, this is incredible. But how did you learn to do all this? I've been taking business classes online during our travels, and Mrs. Peterson helped me talk to lawyers and banks. She used to work in business before Amy was born. Jeffrey read more of the plan. Luna wanted to help 1,000 families in the first year. She had already identified inventors working on clean water systems, better medicines, and safer food. There's more, Daddy. Look at the last page. Jeffrey turned to the final sheet. It was a letter addressed to him, written in Luna's neat handwriting. Dear Daddy, you always think I'm amazing, but you're the one who's amazing. You took our sadness and turned it into hope for millions of people. You took Mommy's death and made it mean something beautiful. But I learned something from watching you. The best inventions don't come from smart people trying to get rich. They come from people who love someone so much they'll do anything to help them. You invented clean batteries because you love me and wanted me to breathe clean air. Now I want to invent a way to help other families like ours. This foundation is my invention, Daddy. My way of changing the world. I hope you're proud of me the way I've always been proud of you. Love forever and always, Luna Chen, age 9, Chief Inspiration Officer and World Changer. Jeffrey couldn't speak. He just held the letter and cried. Are you sad, Daddy? Luna asked worriedly. No, little star. I'm proud. So incredibly proud. So you'll help me with the foundation? Jeffrey looked at his daughter, his partner, his inspiration, his hero. When had she grown up so much? When had she become not just his motivation but his Luna Chen, he said formally, I would be honored to work with you to change the world. Again, Luna grinned and threw her arms around him. This is going to be the best adventure yet, Daddy. Outside their window, the morning sun was rising over Austin. Somewhere, a child was waking up in clean air because of Jeffrey's batteries. Somewhere else, a parent was about to get help they desperately needed because of Luna's foundation. The taxi driver had become a world-famous inventor. The little girl who believed in him had become a world changer in her own right. But best of all, they were still a team, still taking care of each other, still turning their love into hope for families everywhere. Ready for another day of saving the world, Chief World Changer Chen? Jeffrey asked. Luna saluted him with her purple pen. Ready, Chief Technology Officer Chen. Let's go help some families. 5 years later, Jeffrey stood in the wings of the largest auditorium in the world. The United Nations building in New York was packed with leaders from every country on Earth. Today was Luna's 13th birthday, and she was about to address the world. Nervous, little star? Jeffrey whispered. Luna straightened her navy blue business suit and grinned. She wasn't little anymore. At 13, she was almost as tall as Jeffrey's shoulder, with Sarah's wise eyes and her father's stubborn determination. Not nervous, Daddy. Excited. We're about to tell the world we did it. Secretary General Martinez stepped to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 years ago, a taxi driver and his 8-year-old daughter started a revolution. Today, I'm proud to announce that their work has officially ended the global climate crisis. The audience erupted in applause. Dr. Jeffrey Chen's battery technology now powers 98% of the world's vehicles. Miss Luna Chen's foundation has helped 50,000 families and funded 200 life-saving inventions. Together, they have given us a planet where children can breathe clean air everywhere. Jeffrey squeezed Luna's hand. Ready to change the world one more time? Always, Daddy. They walked onto the stage together. The same partnership that had started in a broken-down taxi was now addressing the leaders of the world. Luna stepped to the microphone first. Over the years, she had become an even better speaker than her father. Hello everyone, I'm Luna Chen, and 5 years ago I was just a kid whose daddy drove taxi to pay for my asthma medicine. The vast auditorium was completely silent. Today, I want to tell you a story. It's about a man who thought he was a failure, a little girl who never stopped believing, and a woman who changed everything even after she was gone. On the giant screen behind them, pictures began to appear. Jeffrey in his yellow taxi, Sarah in the hospital bed, Luna as a small child holding her father's hand. My mommy died when I was 5. Before she died, she made me promise something. She made me promise to keep believing in my daddy even when he couldn't believe in himself. The pictures changed to show Jeffrey and Luna traveling to factories, speaking at events, helping families around the world. For 4 years, I carried that promise in my heart. And you know what I learned? Sometimes the most important job in the world isn't being a scientist or a president or a CEO. Sometimes the most important job is believing in someone who's about to change everything. Jeffrey wiped his eyes. Luna had grown into the wisest person he knew. Today, kids in every country can run and play without worrying about dirty air. Parents don't have to choose between medicine and food. And inventors with big dreams have helped to make those dreams come true. Luna looked directly at the camera that was broadcasting to the entire world. But we're not done yet. My daddy taught me that once you know you can help people, you have to keep helping. So today, we're announcing our next project. Jeffrey stepped forward to join her at the podium. The Chen Institute, he said, will train the next generation of inventors, kids from every country, from families like ours, who have big dreams and bigger hearts. The screen showed architectural drawings of a beautiful school. Gardens and laboratories, classrooms and workshops, all designed for young inventors. We want to find the next Luna, Luna said with a smile. The next kid whose belief in someone else will save the world. After their speech, they walked through Central Park together. New York's air was crystal clear. Children played on swings that their parents didn't have to worry about. Electric cars hummed quietly past them, all powered by Jeffrey's revolutionary batteries. They sat on a bench beside a lake where ducks swam in clean water. "Daddy, can I tell you a secret?" Luna asked. "Always, little star. I'm not sad about Mommy anymore." Jeffrey looked at her with surprise. "What do you mean?" "I used to be sad that she died too young. But now I understand something. Mommy didn't die too young. She lived exactly long enough to make sure we knew how to save the world." Luna picked up a smooth stone and skipped it across the lake. "She lived long enough to help you perfect your battery. She lived long enough to make me promise to believe in you. She lived long enough to show us that love doesn't end when someone dies. It just becomes something bigger." Jeffrey put his arm around his daughter. "You sound like your mother when you talk like that." "Good," Luna said firmly. "I want to sound like her. I want to be like her. Someone who sees the best in people even when they can't see it in themselves." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the clean water and breathing the pure air that Jeffrey's invention had made possible. "What do you think happens next?" Jeffrey asked. Luna grinned. "I think we keep being heroes, Daddy. Not the kind with capes and superpowers. The kind who help families and believe in people and turn sadness into hope." "That sounds perfect, Chief World Changer Chen." "It does, doesn't it, Chief Technology Officer Chen?" As the sun set over New York City, father and daughter sat together planning their next adventure. Round them, the world breathed easier, because a taxi driver had never given up, and a little girl had never stopped believing. The boy who had lost his mother too young had become a man who saved millions of mothers for their children. The girl who had almost lost her father to despair had become a woman who gave hope to families everywhere. And somewhere in the clean air above them, Sarah Chen smiled down at the two people she loved most, knowing that her love had indeed become something bigger than death, something that changed the world. Luna Chen Martinez, now 33 and a mother herself, stood in her office at the Chen Institute. On her desk was a photo of her father, who had passed peacefully 2 years earlier, and her mother, who had died when Luna was just 5. Her own daughter, Sarah, now 5 years old, was drawing at the small table in the corner. "Mommy," little Sarah said, "tell me again about Grandpa and the taxi." Luna smiled and sat beside her daughter. "Once upon a time, there was a man who thought he was a failure, and the story began again, carrying love from one generation to the next, ensuring that the lesson would never be forgotten. Sometimes the greatest heroes are the people who refuse to give up on someone else's dreams." What an incredible journey from that rainy taxi ride to changing the world. Jeffrey and Luna's story proves that sometimes our biggest failures are just preparing us for our greatest successes. I hope this story inspired you as much as it inspired me. If it touched your heart, please hit that like button to help spread this message of hope to others who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're here to share stories that spread kindness and remind us that miracles can happen when we never give up on each other. Before you go, drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. I love connecting with our amazing community around the world. And if you want another inspiring story right now, click on the video appearing on your screen. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thank you for being part of our family. And remember, you never know when your next chapter might change everything.